A local task force that responds to everything from F5 tornadoes to nationwide disasters is recruiting. We'll tell you more about that. And nearly 100,000 Americans died from drug overdose in 2020. We'll have a deeper look. Your KRHD News starts right now. Good evening and thank you for bringing us into your homes for KRHD at 5. I'm Hallie Jones. Well, members of the Texas A&M Task Force 1 bear the weight of helping people during some of the most vulnerable moments, but the experience comes with invaluable returns. And as KRHD News reporter Rachel Esbayat shows us, it looks to add more members.
A day this country will never forget when the towers were struck on 9/11. It was Travis Marr's first deployment as a member of the Texas A&M Task Force 1. The experience bonded him and fellow responders.
When you train to this degree and then when you respond to things of that caliber, it does bring you closer.
These people become friends and family for life, and that's what we're looking for.
The director says there are a variety of roles available, everything from administrative to doctors and structural engineers.
People that can fit into that environment and help people at their worst times.
Marr says becoming a member also boosted his career as a first responder.
It's taken my career, what I would normally see in the Austin Fire Department, and it's probably given me 50 or 60 years of experience condensed into the 20 years that I've been there.
The application period closes on September 1st. One of the requirements, though, is that you live within a 3-hour driving distance from College Station. In College Station, Rachel Esbayat, KRHD News.
Now, for those interested in joining Texas Task Force 1, here's some more information. The task force held its first organizational meeting in 1997 after the 1995 Oklahoma City bombing. Their first deployment was to our west after the central Texas city Jarrell was struck by an F5 tornado. Texas Task Force 1 has about 600 members throughout 60 organizations across the state. During training, members will participate in over 25,000 hours of training per year. This includes 2 mobilization exercises and 1 operational readiness exercise. The majority of training for Texas Task Force 1 members takes place at Disaster City and College Station. Disaster City is a 52-acre training facility that simulates various disaster situations. This includes structural collapses, fires, and even passenger train derailments. New at 5, the Brazos County Sheriff's Office says they have arrested 3 people after searching a vehicle during a traffic stop today. Officials say they found 9 pounds of marijuana, a gun, and approximately $4,000 of cash inside the vehicle. Officials say during a traffic stop, a deputy developed probable cause to search the vehicle. The 3 individuals inside were arrested for possession of marijuana, 5 pounds, but less than or equal to 50 pounds. This is a 3rd-degree felony. 2 of the 3 individuals were also charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon, a Class A misdemeanor. The CDC is reporting a significant increase in overdose-related deaths during the pandemic. KRHD reporter Rebecca Fiedler takes a look at addiction rates here in the Brazos Valley.
The CDC keeps track of overdose-related deaths for each state. That's both predicted and reported. Now, between December of 2019 and December of 2020, the CDC reported an increase in states like Texas of more than 30% overdose-related deaths, both measured and predicted. Though data sets are incomplete, the CDC did note that over 1,000 more Texans died from drug overdoses in 2020 than did in 2019. Todd Duga is a licensed social worker and clinical director of the local resource known as More Than Rehab, a treatment center which provides inpatient and outpatient services for people battling addictions. Duga says his rehab facility and others across the state have seen an increase in clients since the onset of the pandemic.
I've talked to multiple centers around in the area and around the country, and they've all noticed that because of the quarantine and because of people's inability to socialize and feeling shut in and isolated. And isolation is a major portion of addiction. The clients become individuals that are addicted become very isolated. And with the pandemic, it just compounded that event.
Those struggling with addiction may have accessed additional prescription medication over the course of the pandemic, according to Duga, and felt even greater stress from economic issues like unemployment. Duga says his own path to sobriety has relied on what addicted persons need long-term, continued support from the community through structured group meetings or religious resources. He hopes these opportunities can increase in the Brazos Valley. For further information on the More Than Rehab facility, visit morethanrehab.com. The Brazos Valley Council on Alcohol and Substance Abuse also offers resources for those struggling with dependency. For more information on them, visit bvcasa.org. Reporting in Bryan, Rebecca Fiedler, KRHD News.
The Better Business Bureau has a warning about a very slick new Amazon scam. One man fell for it and now wants to warn others. Consumer reporter John Mattery shows what to watch out for so you don't waste your money.
How would you like to win a prize from Amazon, like a pair of Apple AirPods? Unfortunately, it's a scam, an expensive one, as one man just learned. Brian Hunt buys electronics from Amazon. He was excited to receive a text saying, "Congratulations, Brian, you came in second place in a recent Amazon raffle."
I received a text message that I thought was from Amazon telling me that there was a giveaway, a sweepstakes. I was going to get these a free pair of earbuds. All I had to do was pay for shipping. So I clicked on the link.
The link went to a page that looked like Amazon and asked for a credit card for shipping.
They were only asking for the shipping fee, which I think was $6.
But a few days later, he received these cheap imitation Apple AirPods, followed by a $100 charge.
And what did they charge you for it?
They charged me $6 for shipping, but then it was $99.50 or something a couple days later.
The Better Business Bureau is now issuing a warning about this Amazon text scam after hundreds of recent complaints nationwide.
These sweepstakes and lottery scams, they use text messages, phone calls, social media.
The BBB's Sarah Kammerer says Amazon is not holding any sweepstakes or raffle. Rather, this is designed to get money or even worse.
People will just charge to your bank accounts and credit cards, and ultimately it just leads to identity theft.
Brian's not sure how they got his name and cell number and wishes he had asked some questions first.
Obviously had nothing to do with Amazon.
Remember, if you win a sweepstakes, you win. Don't give them a debit or credit card so you don't waste your money. I'm John Mattery, 25 News.
Well, a new partnership between Prairie View A&M and Texas A&M University could spell greater success for grad students soon. Both schools say they're launching a memorandum of agreement, giving faculty and students at both institutions the chance to compare programs and curriculum. Officials say part of the partnership will include a teacher exchange program, giving both schools environments away from their home base.
It's an opportunity for our students to engage in a very different environment than they have at Texas A&M. And likewise, we can really gain from Prairie View students coming to Texas A&M to engage with our undergraduates here as they have the opportunity to teach a course here.
Officials say the exchange will also help undergraduate students at both schools improve.
When we look at the Texas A&M and Prairie View, it creates a catalyst for us to be the leading think tank on change in our country and throughout our state. And so I see this partnership as a step towards something much bigger.
The partnership is expected to commence officially this fall.
Until recently, farmers who wanted to grow hemp in the U.S. faced a lot of hurdles. And that all changed when a federal law passed back in 2018, loosening restrictions. Now, as Maya Rodriguez shows us, hemp production is increasing in some places you may not expect.
It's a 21st century greenhouse.
And I just like the idea that we can do it all year long.
For an ancient crop.
So it's a plant that'll capture you.
For Glenn Treadwell of Treadwell Farms, that plant is hemp. His family has been farming in Florida for more than a century. But hemp
It's one of the harder plants to grow.
is a more recent addition.
You just have to have the right processes, and that's what we had to learn, and people taught us, and we're trying to teach other people is the right way to handle it.
Jamie Treadwell is Glenn's daughter and the next generation of Treadwell farmers.
We have over 50 acres in production. We grow at the times of the year when other parts of the country can't.
After bursting onto the farming scene around the country several years ago, hemp production declined. But that's expected to change, with the U.S. market for hemp projected to triple by 2027, with Colorado, Arizona, California, Kentucky, Michigan, New York, and Florida among the top 10 hemp-growing states. And in Florida, where citrus is king, state agriculture officials say within the next 4 years, hemp farming is expected to grow to half the size of the state's citrus acreage.
So we've been known for growing citrus all these years. And unfortunately, with the greening and the other viruses, the production of citrus has dramatically dropped.
Hemp may help fill in that gap, says Holly Bell, Director of Cannabis for the Florida Department of Agriculture, which oversees the Fresh from Florida hemp program.
You're getting something that's regulated, monitored, tested through the entire system, and it's safe for consumer consumption.
Which is why under that program, Treadwell Farms isn't just growing hemp, but branching out into creating hemp products. And it's happening inside a former citrus processing facility.
Earrings that I'm wearing are made from hemp. My jeans are made of 50% hemp. There's so many possibilities.
Possibilities they hope will pay off. In Eustis, Florida, I'm Maya Rodriguez.
Now let's get a check of the weather with First Alert Chief Meteorologist Matt Hines.
And we are looking at some thunderstorm activities creeping in from the southeast, just like yesterday here across the area. I think this is going to be a reoccurrence with isolated to widely scattered thunderstorms moving in. Officially thunder in the area with partly cloudy skies, 91 degrees, feeling like 99, but where it's raining, it's cooling off. Winds are out of the southeast now at 24 miles per hour with higher gusts. So we are seeing some gusty winds as a few of those thunderstorms roll into the area. And you can see that sea breeze front rolling right through Bryan College Station, continuing off to the north. So folks around Highway 79, you still may get on some of this action near Hearn up towards Centerville as well as it continues to the northwest. It will slowly die out from there. As we broaden our horizons, things are pretty quiet back to the west. This is where we had the center of our heat dome, and we are going to see that stay just far enough away to keep us on the cooler side of things around here. Highs into the 90s still, though, with those isolated thunderstorms around. But as we head to the overnight hours going into the morning, looks like all that goes away. Then we may see a few isolated to widely scattered thunderstorms again for Thursday afternoon, going on into Friday as well. Clouds in the morning, partly cloudy skies in the afternoon. Isolated to widely scattered showers and storms will be possible as we head into the weekend even, and next week rain chances may go up even more. So for tonight, temperatures will be dipping down into the 70s, 75 in Hearn, 73 in Bryan College Station and Caldwell, and 75 as you head down toward Navasota. And then tomorrow, highs will make it into the low to mid 90s, anywhere between 90 and 93 for a lot of us. And that will all be dependent on when those isolated thunderstorms decide to creep into the area from the southeast. But again, still humid out ahead of it and looking decent as you get behind that boundary as we move into the late afternoon and evening hours. So that's when it'll be pretty nice. Temperatures into the 90s around here, 20 to 30% chances for some isolated to widely scattered afternoon and evening storms. Chances increase as we head into next week.
Blight and how to get rid of it is an issue cities nationwide are grappling with. Its impact can cost the city millions of dollars in lost property tax revenue and lead to an increase in crime. Well, Chris Stewart has how developers in one community are finding a unique way to fight blight with what they call Buy Back the Block.
Seeing these properties that I used to drive by as a kid, used to see burnt down buildings and houses where people are selling drugs, and you got homeless people staying in these properties.
The emptiness of an abandoned lot can be filled with the problems that plague a community.
Vacant lots, sometimes, people are dumping garbage or, doing things that they shouldn't be doing.
I'm tired of seeing empty lots.
But in these lots on the south side of Chicago,
I've never left. So I was born here, I was raised here, I went to school here.
Bonita Harrison sees a future.
I see a family that can't be here. I see kids that can't play. That's what I see.
It's a vision she shares with the group you see here.
We can build something and put homeowners in there.
We all have an affinity to the south side of Chicago
and making it a better place to live.
Southside natives who came together to buy these 13 vacant lots in the West Woodlawn neighborhood.
Even though it is a 100% Black community, we own less than 30% of the real estate.
Their vision is to build affordable, multi-family homes.
The significance to us is not just a dollar. It's about the value that we bring to the neighborhood because we bring value in multiple ways.
To buy this land, they used the Cook County Land Bank, an organization started in the wake of the housing crisis to fight blight that buys properties, often vacant, and sells them to developers that can give them life again.
They really have leveled the playing field for us. They've stepped in and basically been able to give us access to the properties that we as smaller investors wouldn't have had.
But this group believes the true impact of what will fill this land comes from the power of who is behind it.
You know, we're looking at recycling the black dollar, leaving an example in the presence for our youth and the neighbors and around the neighborhood to see that, again, this is for us, by us.
Housing is a complicated issue in both cities and suburbs nationwide. Places like the South Side, it can be hard to find the exact number of lots that are vacant. But for this group, dedicated to bringing positive change to where they call home, they say it's not just about the structure you build, but the people who will call it their own.
What it means to me personally is that I've made a change in not just my neighborhood, but in somebody else's life.
Chris, thank you for that report. McDonald's franchises are planning to offer better benefits to draw in more workers. On that list is emergency child care, paid time off, health with covering tuition cost, and higher pay. Entry-level positions will be able to make up to $17 an hour and management jobs up to $20 an hour. This will be based on the location of the restaurant. Finally, in our lineup, a lot of older workers want to keep at least a partly remote work schedule, but many recent college grads are worried about what they'll be missing. Why that includes how remote work could impact promotion opportunities. A lot of jobs are staying remote or adapting a hybrid work model. It's something many Americans are happy about. A recent survey from Slack shows only 12% of office workers want to go back full time. But it's a different story for those who just started entering the workforce. Generation Lab tracks trends affecting younger people and found 40% of college students and recent grads would prefer in-person work. 74% said they fear missing out on being a part of a workplace community the most.
That's an intangible, doesn't necessarily show up in the paycheck, but obviously just fundamental factor number two is mentorship. So again, two sort of intangible things that you need to develop over time, especially early on in the career, that seems to be driving this pretty stilted difference between young people and the general public.
Remote and hybrid work also has the potential to impact promotion opportunities for Gen Z workers. If they're up against someone who had the chance to work in person and build a network with coworkers and managers, their chances may not be as good. It's something Generation Lab plans to keep tracking, along with the other impacts to remote and hybrid work.
We're going to do a lot of longitudinal research on how this specific cohort does in terms of wading into the workforce and over time, and how they develop both in terms of skills, satisfaction, pay. Like, these are all really essential stuff that we'll have to study.
One advantage to remote work for Gen Z is familiarity with technology. Most had to finish college online and are already used to accomplishing work that way. But that could also be contributing to how Gen Z is defining a work-life balance. When asked by Generation Lab, most said they didn't view achieving the balance by separating the two, but by blending them together. Rent prices are rising across the country, but would you trade in your parking spot to pay less? Some cities are dropping those parking requirements for developers and see this as a model that could go nationwide. Tomorrow, we're looking into the cost savings